What's up, guys? It's Deepak Shukla here, back again with Serpwizz reports, and today we're looking at the first meaningful paint. So before we've spoken about the first contentful paint, we spoke about the largest contentful paint, and the first meaningful paint is when the primary content of a page becomes visible. So the first and the largest are about what loads irrespective of the user experience, whereas this is respective of the user experience. So this is potentially like a really important element of the actual load, perhaps the most important in some ways, because it's when a user can see the thing once it loads. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, that's quite a long time. You really want it to be loaded. Okay, so getting this down is like super important. We'll head over to Lighthouse again to take a look. It's deprecated in Lighthouse 6. That's because it appears somewhere else. Let's have a look at moving forward. Consider using largest contentful paint instead. So we also have a look. We also, of course, use largest contentful paint. We still look at first meaningful paint. I still think that there's it says has inconsistent results, but it relies on browser-specific implementation details because it cannot be standardized. But it's still worth having a look at what this means and what is a good score. Okay, 75 to 100. We've got 4.2 seconds, and this is like FMP score, so over 4 seconds. So we're still pretty damn slow. Okay, so the thing to well, let's have a look at what they say here, what it is. It means when the primary content of a page is visible to the user, the raw score is the time in seconds between the user initiating the page load and the page rendering the primary above the fold content. So when you hit or land on a website and the page rendering the primary above the fold content. So we head over to Pearl Lemon. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, see? So it's probably a little bit faster than 4 seconds, but it certainly needs to be quicker than it currently is. So shows the timing of the paint after which the biggest above the fold layout change happens. So it's first contentful paint and first meaningful paint are often the same. Not always though. These metrics can differ, for example, when there's content above the fold within an iframe. So FMP, the first meaningful paint, measures when the content within the iframe is visible to the users, whilst first contentful paint doesn't. So first meaningful paint on, for example, Serpwizz would be different to first contentful paint because we're using an embed to embed our form in widget style. If you go to the serpwizz.com landing page, presumably or hopefully it looks the same as it did before, but you see this. So that is an embed from our own tool, of course. So that's just something to consider and a good way of thinking about how it might change the meaningful paint to the contentful paint. So that is the first meaningful paint, and as it says here, the way to fix it is very similar to all of the other things that we recommended. So it's the CSS minification, it's moving stuff in line, it's looking at web workers, and look, how to improve first meaningful paint. Look, it's the same stuff, guys. Script-based elements above the fold, lazy loading, avoid lazy loading above fold images, inline essential images, optimize your site's DOM size. So it's all of these elements, okay, that become really important to the process. So I hope that makes sense, guys, as to your FMP, first meaningful paint, and I'll catch you in the next one.